Hi, Studio One. I'm sorry I can't be there with you today, but here we are virtually. We'll make it work this way. So big picture for today, you are going to learn about value and practice shading a value scale of your own. Of course, you can continue with working towards finishing your 4 thumbnail drawings that we started earlier this week. But if you want to take a break and work on some shading, you're welcome to do that. You choose both of these assignments, the thumbnail drawing and the pencil value scale that I'm about to introduce will be due Wednesday, November 3rd. I'm seeing on the screen now that it says October 3rd, but that is in the past, so ignore that. Know that it's going to be November 3rd. That's next Wednesday after I return and I'm able to talk to you about your work, and we can touch anything up. If you have questions, we'll have time to problem solve before you turn this in. The deadline isn't going to be until November 8th. That's the following Monday. You do have a partial credit deadline coming up. That's Tuesday, November 2nd. So make sure you've turned in everything that you need to. You're not leaving any zeros in the grade book. They really bring your grade down. So you're welcome to email me anything that's closed on Canvas. If it's closed on Canvas, that means that the deadline has passed. But you're still welcome to turn things in until the 2nd for partial credit. Just email me your work. And touching on that, if you need to turn in one of the documents, say the Canvas scavenger hunt or the bookbinding worksheet from earlier on in the quarter, you're realizing that you didn't submit that, you can still fill out that document. It's under modules, and then you scroll down and you'll see a unit called Oops, I missed the deadline documents, and you'll see that there. You can just make a copy and email me your copy after you've completed that document. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about value. Again, you can keep working on your thumbnail drawings if you'd like today. This is just something else that you could work on if you want to take a break, or you could do this tomorrow as well. Okay, so first of all, what value is and why we're using it in drawings. So value is the light and dark values in a composition. They really create a three-dimensional illusion. So as you use value in a drawing, on the left here, we're seeing a drawing created with just pencil. They might have put in, actually, as I'm looking at this, they might have put in a little bit of white colored pencil just in the extreme highlights there. It looks very bright, so they might have gone back and either erased or even gone in with a little bit of a white oil pastel or a white colored pencil to really make those highlights come out. But everything else is just done with pencil. And it looks 3D. It looks like this is a three-dimensional image and it's popping off of the paper at us because they've done such a good job with the value. So we're going to practice shading. We're going to practice using shading to create value in order to create form in our two-dimensional drawings and make them look three-dimensional. Before I show you the activity that you're going to do just to practice shading with value, it might be a review for some of you. You might be touching up on skills that you already have, or it might be brand new. That's fine. Before I show you that activity, I want to just show you what we're working towards with our final work. When we begin drawing our final still life drawing, I'm going to be looking for a couple things in your final piece. All of which are things that we'll be working on and skill building before we get into our final piece. So I'm not just throwing you to the wolves. We're going to practice these things. I'm going to teach you how to do these things. We'll practice. I'll be by your side once I'm back in the classroom with you, and we'll practice this so you're confident in what you're doing. But this is going to be what I'm looking for when grading your final still life drawings later on in marking period 2. So we'll be looking for exaggerated shadows. I feel like it's helpful to shade the darker values first. That's just a little tip that's noted there that you might see on the screen. I'm going to be looking for neat and even shading without gaps. We're going to be looking for direct light and reflected light to be shown accurately. So you must have noticed by now the lights shining on the still life displays in the room. That should be creating a really exaggerated direct light on objects, exaggerated shadows. They're going to stay put where they are, and you'll be using that light to draw in and shade in the direct light and reflected light that you see. And we'll work on that probably next week even a little bit more, seeing how to create form and drawing in direct light and reflected light. I'll be looking for a large range of variation in values. At least 8 is the minimum. So at least 8 values. You'll probably naturally get more than 8 values in your final work, but 8 minimum. You'll be using your approved thumbnail to guide your final drawing. If you want to switch that, you'll be able to. Students have done that in the past. They've changed their idea of what they want to draw. You'll just want to come up with a thumbnail drawing to kind of map out your composition before you get started if you're switching. So you'll still be using an approved thumbnail drawing. We'll also be looking to make sure that your still life drawing is drawn as observed with proper spacing and accurate sizing. If you're looking at the objects in front of you, you're already working towards this because you're drawing from observation. Okay, as we get into shading, I'm just going to skip ahead and show you what we're going to be doing for this first activity to practice. We're going to be creating a pencil value scale. It's going to look like this. It's going to have 10 different values. I'm going to go into some tips now to get you started, but this is what we're working towards, so it might be good to keep this in mind as I'm showing you the tips now. Okay, so tip number 1 says here, the illusion of there being a three-dimensional form will only be successful if the shading is neat and even without any gaps. Okay, so you want more of shading that looks like what you're seeing on the left here. It's nice and even, it's neat, there aren't any gaps there. You don't want something that you're seeing on the right side of this screen with that little sad face. You can see where all of those little marks are. You can see which direction their pencil was going in. You don't want that. You don't want messy lines. We want a nice blended shaded value. A tip to get there is how you're holding your pencil. If you're holding your pencil like you're seeing on the left, more like what you're used to when you are taking a math test or writing a paper, you're going to get some details. You're going to get more clean lines like you're seeing over here. That's how we wanted to, over here on the right, that's how we would have held our pencil when we were creating our contour drawings, because we're looking to create one line. But for this, when we're creating value, you're going to get a nice, even shaded value like you're seeing on the left here on this slide by holding your pencil like you're seeing on the right on this slide. Almost like a wand is how we've described it in the past. You're holding your pencil like you would a wand because it's going to get that side of the pencil instead of the direct point. You can still use a sharpened pencil. You should use a sharpened pencil. But if you use the side of the pencil and your pencil's on an angle, you're going to get the larger part of the graphite at the tip of the pencil, and that's going to give you a nice even shade, and it'll be easier to get a nice even value like you're seeing here on the left. Okay. Third tip is to use different amounts of pressure on the pencil on the paper to create different values. So over on the left, you see the darkest value. They've labeled that 1. The artist probably pressed down really hard on their paper and over time pressed down, and it added a lot of pressure to get that darker value. The lighter the marks are, the less pressure you're going to put on your pencil. So experiment with this. It might take a couple tries. Maybe this is a review for you. You're going to speed through this. Challenge yourself to try to make each square look really even, and just touch up on your skills. Maybe this is just like a warm-up for you if you've done this before. But if this is the first time you've created a value scale, that's great too. Do your best. We'll take a look at these when I'm back on Monday, and we can even edit if you'd like. If you really want to challenge yourself, you can do more than 10 values, but 10 values is the minimum to try. You're welcome to try more if you'd like. Okay, here's the criteria for success. I am going to be grading this for skill as an activity. It's only going to be 10 points because it's an activity leading up to our final drawing. But these are the things that I'm going to be looking for. 10 values are clearly shown. Each square should be 1 inch by 1 inch. So that means that the whole value scale from the first value on the left to the lightest value all the way on the right is going to be 10 inches long. And then the whole value scale will be 1 inch tall. Okay, so each square is 1 inch by 1 inch. Each value should be blended evenly. You should show a high level of craftsmanship, meaning there aren't any gaps, there aren't any scribbles, everything's blended really nicely and evenly. And then when you're turning this in, you're taking a clear photo, and of course it's submitted on time. Going back to the first page, you're probably wondering, when was that due again? It's due on November 3rd, so that's next Wednesday. And we'll have time to check this in class. If you want to check in with me, we'll have time to do that before the due date. The deadline isn't going to be until November 8th. That's the following Monday, if you need a little bit more time than that. Okay. I know you're going to need some work time now and you can get into things, but since I'm not there, I'm just going to go ahead and do our wrap up now while I have your attention. You don't have technical homework, but if you haven't already, check your grades on Synergy, check Canvas. If you're missing any assignments, you're welcome to email your work to me for partial credit by November 2nd. Please do that. Please don't leave any zeros in the grade book. And if you have any questions, I'll be trying to check my email once in a while I'm away. So if there's any pressing questions, you're welcome to email me, and I'll see that eventually and get back to you as soon as I can. And then just to review once more, the thumbnail drawing is due November 3rd. I know that says 10/3, but no, it's November 3rd. That's next Wednesday. The deadline will be the following Monday, November 8th. And same for the pencil value scale, due November 3rd, deadline Monday, November 8th. And then the partial credit deadline will be Tuesday the 2nd. All right, have a good rest of your day. Have a good weekend, and I'll see you guys on Monday. Bye.